really good. If we're streaming to anyone.
Can you guys hear us? If you're in chat, can you guys hear us? Please.
Looks like we're up now. Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys. Can you hear us? We're here. Raise your hand in chat. You can hear us. Say hello. Anyways, guys, I'm here with my fellow hosts, Brian, Caitlin, and Christina. How are you guys?
Doing great. Happy to be here tonight with everyone. How about you guys?
I'm fabulous. Great. Good to hear, Christina. How about you, Brian?
I'm doing good. Happy Friday evening to those in the U.S. and happy Saturday to those in Australia.
So, guys, we are having some connection problems, so just bear with us. If you lose connection, just refresh, and we should be right back, just like last show. But anyway, so everyone, be prepared for something extraordinarily terrifying. Tonight, for our fabulous listeners, we've got the amazing Ghosts and Girls Paranormal, a team of two crazy cool women. Tonight, you will meet June Lundgren, spiritual healer, animal communicator, paranormal investigator, international author, and demon seer. And also Wendy Stanton-Phillips, medium, empath, and paranormal investigator for over 20 years. From performing investigations from around the world and even seen on ghost adventures, they will blow your mind and send chills down your spine. But before we get started and introduce you to these awesome ladies, a few things to remember. Please no cussing in chat and just be respectful to everybody. Also, there will be a short break at the top of the hour, like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. And also, I think Brian might have a short disclaimer to read before we start. Right, Brian?
Yes. The views and the opinions expressed on Haunting the Afterlife are those of various authors, websites, chat room participants, and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Haunting the Afterlife Radio, Haunting the Afterlife host, or anyone affiliated with the aforementioned entities. Any content provided by bloggers, authors, or websites are that of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic groups, clubs, organizations, companies, individuals, or anyone or anything.
Thank you, Brian. I definitely appreciate that as always when you do that. So let's get started with meeting these awesome ladies. We'll go ahead and start with June, alphabetical order here. June, do you want to talk a little bit about how you got into the paranormal and then we'll talk a little bit about being a demon seer and what that's like, and then we'll get to know Wendy as well.
Yeah, I've been a psychic medium all my life. I grew up for the first 5 years with my grandmother, who was a medium as well, and so she basically tutored me in, what to do, how to tell the good ones from the bad ones, things like that, all the basic stuff that I needed to know. I've been helping people with paranormal issues since the 70s. So this is, this whole thing is nothing new. I spent some time in the military, did a lot of helping of people there, and have been doing this for over 40 years.
Tell us a little bit about what it is to actually be a demon seer. I think a lot of people are probably wondering what that entails.
Well, it's like I can see them, hear them, communicate with them, understand them, and remove them. I didn't like the term demonologist because there's too many negative connotations with it. I ran into ones that were fakes, and I had bad vibes from them. So my grandmother, who's been dead since 79, said, really, you need to just tell them what you are is what we called you in Ireland, demon seers. These are people who could see them and communicate with them and get rid of them. So that's why I call myself that and not a demonologist. I just, that's what I do. They shouldn't be in this world. They shouldn't be torturing people. And so it's my job and Wendy's to remove them.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get Wendy introduced then. Tell us a bit about how you got into the paranormal, Wendy.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for having us on. I grew up with all these things around me. I was very blessed to have parents who, though they didn't understand what was going on, they knew something was going on. And, as I grew up, you make the mistake when you're young of telling what you know, and people think something's wrong with you or what have you. And, so you start to shut it down, and it was always there. But and this little 2.5-year-old boy looked at me with black eyes, and he was blonde hair, blue eyed. And he just sat there with this horrible smile on his face. And I just went over and grabbed him by the arms, said what I said. And he has no recollection, had none at the time. And things from that point in time started picking up again. And I've tried to help people in the different ways because I'm also an empath. And you can do that incorrectly too, in my desire to help people. I caused myself a lot of pain and suffering. So I shut that down for a long time. And then in 2015, on my Facebook pops up this thing for our Oregon Ghost Conference. I'd never heard of it. And I went, and the people were awesome. It's like for the first time, I felt like I was around people there that got me. And that's where I met June. And over time, we became friends and we hooked up and we started doing what we do. And I can't imagine life without her or doing any of this without her. So it's been just a really amazing ride, as everybody would say. Met some amazing people, seen some things that you can never explain, so it's just been really pretty cool.
So, Wendy, do you consider yourself also a demon seer or no?
I would consider myself a lesser one, and June can correct me. Because she has done this longer. We work on, I think, in my terms, 2 different levels. She deals with bigger ones and beings. I am newer into this portion of it. I deal with the minions, as we refer to them. And so, yeah, there's still little creepies, but I don't do it on the level that she does it. But if, she needs some secondary assistance, I'm there. So
Like, keep them off my legs, man. Keep them off my legs.
Exactly. So I do. I see them differently than she does, but all of us who have any sort of a gift see things, hear them, smell them, feel them differently. So she sees them in their beautiful glory, which is not beautiful. And I hear them and I see disruptions where they are. So, I know where they are. Yeah, they're creepy.
When you talk about seeing demons and minions, can you guys describe, and whoever wants to talk first, go ahead, but can you guys describe what exactly it is you guys see?
You go for it, girl.
The thing is, I don't see, when most people see a demon or they're shown to them, what the demon does is it reaches down and it finds your image of what they should look like, and they magnify it 10 times and then show it to you in your head. So you think you're seeing that, but what you're actually seeing is their projection. and they make themselves as ugly as they want to be. They can show themselves as anything, half bull, half person, goat, ugly. I see them in their true form, and not many people can deal with their true form. The easiest way to describe it is if you picture an archangel and you picture them being totally black, and the face is pure evil. There's no other way to describe it. It's not really a face. And the eyes are not, a lot of people think, oh, well, demons have red eyes, but they really don't. They have kind of a golden, it's like looking into a candle and seeing the reflection in someone's eyes. That's what their eyes look like. And it's very hard to describe. The only person that's been able to see it is Zach from Ghost Adventures when I showed him, because I can show people what they look like.
I have not, by the way, I choose not to. They're ugly enough as it is.
Yeah, but most people choose not to see what I see. And that's a good thing, because they can't handle it.
Exactly. I see them completely differently. Like I said, they're disruptions. And I know that sounds really strange, but imagine when you look in water that's moving, imagine that black or dark gray and moving, walking. It's doing.
Mirage on a hot road. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like shimmer.
Yep. It wiggles. It just, it does whatever it does. And that's how I see them. So mine's completely different than hers. And the next person will be completely different than mine.
Okay. Very, very interesting. Hosts, fellow hosts, do you guys have any questions? Because I have a bunch.
You have a bunch.
You have a bunch.
Susie always has a bunch.
I'm super interested in hearing everything. So if you have like a full book of them, go ahead. I'm just absorbing.
What about you, Christina?
Yeah. What is like a dream location that y'all want to go to?
Let's see. Let's see. Dream location. We should go to that. We should go to the castle over there where, Transylvania. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Dracula's castle thing.
Stay the night there.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yep.
Oh, and I want to go to Leap Castle in Ireland. Oh, that's a cool place.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to go there too.
Yeah.
And where do I want to go? Oh gosh, there are so many places I want to go because I love the history of everything. I mean, send me there and I'll be happy.
As long as it has history, the older the better, right?
Exactly. Not only that, it has to have cemeteries. Sorry, June.
Well, you guys, Haunting the Afterlife did do a show on the Transylvania thing on Dracula's castle last summer sometime, if I remember correctly. It was proven that one is not, he was never even there. Dracula was not even ever there. He was at the real one. Do you guys know where the real one is at?
Trying to remember. I've heard something.
The real castle?
I can't remember.
I don't remember the name of it. Maybe Caitlin, do you remember the name of the real castle?
All I know is that had way too many flipping stairs. So I was never going to make it into that castle. I would have died about a third of the way and said, you know what, this is good. We'll do it later.
No, you would have been fine.
I would have
made
been
it
paying
up
people to
the stairs
piggyback.
Tower of London, you know. If I can make it up the Tower of London, you can make it there.
Oh, even that one almost took me out. And I was, 15, 16. I was in my prime.
What? I'm 52. How old am I? 52.
Uh-oh.
I don't like stairs. I'm not a fan of stairs. I mean, I'll do them, but in all fairness, the Dracula Castle one, they're like long stretched out stairs. It's like those horrible ones, like where you go to places and they're the long flat ones where it just takes
Yeah,
like
those are
three
cool, yeah.
times the amount to get there.
Yeah.
It's just going up, that's fine. But if it's dragging out, no. So
Okay.
you guys go, you take pictures, you tell me how it goes.
Okay.
All right, guys, we got a question for you from Tina. I believe this is a question for you guys. Why is it common for demons to inhabit abandoned churches?
What was that again?
Why is it common for demons to inhabit abandoned churches?
Because they can't go there while there's a live church going on, because there's priests and stuff. Besides, they like to go into places that people think, well, it's on holy ground, they can't come in here. Wrong. They can go anywhere they want. The physical world means nothing to them, but they just they like to go hang out and take over creepy places. But like I said, they won't go into a real church if they can get away with it. That reside.
All right, Caitlin, for the real Dracula.
That sounds excruciatingly correct.
Panari
I'm
Castle.
so tired already, just thinking of it.
Are we still online, Bray?
Aw.
Hello?
They don't catch me.
We're not online.
Yeah, I think we're back. We're back.
I think it's
Oh,
possible.
we're back. Hey guys, chatters, if you can hear us, will you give us a thumbs up in the chat, please?
Are you getting any?
Hang on, I'm trying to refresh my page.
Can you hear me now?
Right?
Was he just laughing?
I think so. Where did chat go?
I know I'm looking for it now. Oh,
It's up.
It's still here.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So yeah, I mean, so you guys might want to go to the Panari Castle versus the famous tourist Dracula's Castle.
Any place spooky's good.
Yeah, because that's where supposedly the real Dracula is. But anyways, so I want to know, guys. So how do you tell? And this may seem stupid. I mean, but how do you guys tell the difference between a negative spirit and a demon? I mean, I know, June, you said something about the golden eyes, but I mean,
Well, the way
yeah.
to tell the difference between an actual demon and a earthbound negative, who's a real winner there, is if you get an earthbound negative, you're gonna get cold spots. You could get like sense. They can show themselves as like the 6 foot tall shadow person when in actuality they're short, fat, balding guy. but you usually get cold spots. You usually get change in temperature. EMF spikes and things like that. When you have a demon there, you don't get that stuff. You get the ambient, temperature stays the same, what you get is you have a cold feeling inside of you that has nothing to do with the external temperature. I mean, it's just like you're cold on the inside and not on the out. And you get this sick feeling in the pit of your stomach. You know, you can see dead flies, you can see dead rodents, dead things. Yeah, you can smell, you know, something like rotting flesh or meat that's gone bad, that type of thing. These are all, you know, signs of a demonic.
So once you find one of these demonics, how do you exactly go about banishing it?
It's complicated. I don't do some, contrary to popular belief, I don't do some song and dance and ritual or anything like that. What I have inside of me is an archangel. She had to be reborn to learn a lesson about having compassion for mankind. And, you know, this is life number 131, and I think she's finally made it in this lifetime. But it allows me, she comes forward. When I get in the presence of a demonic, I wait until I get like right up on the thing. And then she comes forward and she just does the removal simply by, the easiest way to put it is thought becomes reality on the other side. Okay. What you think happens. It's like an action, but only it's done with thought. And there's a couple of ways she uses what they call an infinity orb, or she can catch them by the throat. A lot of times she just likes to catch them by the throat. They're that close. And then she puts them in an infinity orb and releases the orb, and it goes down. And it bursts once it hits the darkness. And it's just, and then she goes back inside. And people say, you know, my eyes turn white, my face changes, my voice changes when she's out. Because, you know, her consciousness comes forward. I see everything happening from a distance almost. And then when she's done, she goes back inside and everything's the same.
Okay, very, very interesting. Caitlin, Christina, any questions yet? I know Brian's working hard on just keeping us connected. But do you guys have any questions yet?
Well, one, that sounds really cool, and she sounds like a boss lady. I like her.
Hear it come out too. It's quite humorous. It's like I'll sit there and go, no, it's not time yet. No,
She'd be like, I'm coming.
Yeah, she's a warrior angel. She was a demon slayer. She was part of a 5 archangel elite group of what God calls the Legion of Light. And she was she was one of 5. It was Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Ezekiel, and Ariel. So in the war against heaven and hell, Michael disarmed Lucifer, and Ariel disarmed his son. I have,
you know,
I have a new book coming out called Demon Seer. It talks about my journey with this from childhood on up, and, you know, some inside secrets of things that have happened on their realm as well as our own right now.
When can we expect that book? Because I know you've already written a ton.
Yeah, it should be out this summer. I'm hoping to have it out in June. It's taking on a life of its own, so it's already over 200 pages. So it's got a lot of information about the other side. It's got, you know, it tells a lot about the spiritual warfare and what's going on now, you know, what went on in the past, how things changed. And like I tell people, you know, forget everything you think you know about the dark side, because you don't know anything. Until you actually deal with these guys, it's all supposition. And once you think you know, they change the rules because there are no rules.
Now, is it true that a demon will not reveal its name, and if so, why?
The Catholics believe that if you have the name, it gives you power over the demon, and that's some people believe that. It's like whenever I remove a demon, the minute I come in contact with it, I know what its name is. But say their name out loud is to call them to you, because it's like you're saying, okay, come on down. So basically, you never say their name. You never reveal their name. I've had people ask me, well, what was his name? I'm like, yeah, I know. That's good enough for me.
You don't want it?
It should be good enough for you, too.
Now, have you ever had like a dark entity saying any type of biblical meanings or anything like that?
No, the old ones will. Like the one I encountered at, I've faced a couple of them, 2, 3 of them. The one I encountered at the Nordblad was an old one, and it came specifically to warn Zach that, we are real. I can basically kick your butt, and I can kill you. So just know that we know you're here, and we know what you're doing. This is fair warning, basically, because the old ones rarely come into the physical world realm. We're not worth their time and effort.
Was that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's usually the lesser ones that come in. But he was lucky. He had both. He had the old one that came, the one I contained, and then there was the lesser demon. And, they told me, don't take out the demons until after we get through. And I'm like, you know what? I'm taking this old one out. You can deal with the lesser demon. I'll leave him there until you get through. But you can't, I can't leave this old one there. I can't take that chance.
We have a comment from Willow Paranormal in chat saying, demons lie. You can never trust a single word they say.
Yeah, they're kind of like a used car salesman. If their lips are moving, they're lying.
I know we talked a little bit about, the light and the dark and the warfare. And I've always had a question as to like holy relics. Do they really hold that much power, it being an object to them, versus you having, an archangel inside you, or someone just kind of coming up and like bearing a cross or holy water, rosary beads or something?
A relic, depending upon the relic, if you could find the real chalice that Jesus had, it has his energy within the chalice. I mean, it's powerful within itself, but what people don't understand is thought and intention is everything. Because on the other side, thought becomes reality. Intention is like acting. So if your intention is that this relic, if you have the total belief, this relic has the power to fight evil, then it does. It's all about thought and intention. If you truly believe that, then it does. You put that power into it. Plus, something like that will draw an angel to you, or will draw, an archangel to you. It's all about that. It's a lot of people think, oh, well, it's nothing. It's just a piece of whatever. But in the same instance, you can bind a demon to an object. So you stop and think about it. If you can bind a demon to an object, why can't you bind an angel to an object? Why don't you, if you bind the power of it? When I create black salt. I was given the recipe by God. He says, you're going to start removing demons. You need to start, having something to protect the people. He says, I'm going to give you a recipe. And he says, at each step of the manufacturing of it, he says, I'm going to bless it. And he says, you need to put some of your angelic power into it so that it acts as a barrier basically is like a force field. And so I've been doing that for about 20 years.
Can any of that be used in terms of helping like dispel like negative spirits?
Yeah, you can. I make necklaces. I have necklaces that I put the black salt in, and when a person is wearing it, a lot of people tell me that it heats up in the presence of a negative, and it will keep them away from you.
I go through a spot on my way to and from work where mine will get hot. Same spot every day. And it's very interesting. I haven't had any time really to go over there and check it out, but it happens every day.
Does it kind of like encase you in like a force field type of thing, like the salt, or like how does it?
In this case, if you're wearing it in a small amount in a necklace, then what it does is it's a warning. Okay. There's something negative here. Get the heck out of there. Whereas if you lay it down around your home, after what I usually do is go in, do the removal, and I have them sage the home, and then I have them lay down the black salt around it with a prayer. And what that does is it seals the home and keeps anything negative from going past it. It's like a force field. They can't go past that line.
Okay.
And it after so many years. It just does.
I think it was like 10 years before I had to finally renew mine.
Yep. I haven't had anything negative since I did mine. I live on a very strange hill. And when I was having my issues, it was this time of the year and such a steep hill. You can't really go out and about and do that. So, yeah, I let a couple of other little goofy things in, but then we got it taken care of. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I have stuff all over the place. They just like to let us know they're here, but nothing bad.
What do you mean by goofy things?
Well, really? Let's see. We knew there was stuff here, or at least I did. All of my children, I have 4 children and a granddaughter, and all of them have different levels of gifts. My granddaughter and her father are both just full blown psychic. My daughter is a very strong empath, and my other son is a sensitive and as well as a bit of an empath. But, so when we're all here together, we see things, we feel things, we hear things. We're a demon. It's a cartoon tree.
That was the funniest thing I ever seen.
Yeah,
Come on. I think it was trying to scare me. Oh, yeah.
How do you get scared by that? And it's like, that seems so harmless to have tried to remove all of my fingers. So that was goofy.
Yeah, only you could have a cartoon demon.
Tweety bird, for Christ's sake. But another time we were sitting watching TV and we heard a growl behind us. And I thought my son's eyes were going to fall out of his head. He's like, Mom. And I'm like, I know, I'll deal with it. They just like to make themselves known. They just like to be obnoxious. That was nothing that serious. I dealt with it. It went away. It's not been back. But I do have a Native American spirit that thinks that she's there and protecting me, but all she does is like to agitate people. And you can feel her around and people get upset and annoyed and irritated. And it's like, okay, do I have to make her go away? What do? I don't want to. Out of respect for her, I don't want to, So June's always like, calm down. Just calm down, chick. Just stop being like that. So that's goofy to me.
So, when was the last time you guys actually did expel a demon? Where was it? When was that?
It was that family. No.
Yeah, it was the second one One in Tiger, where we had to go back twice.
Yeah, we did 2 in one day because we also had to go back to that apartment.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yes, because yeah, when you keep letting stuff in, or you have a person who refuses to relinquish hold of negative things inside of themselves, you're going to end up going back because it just draws them in.
Yeah.
And didn't the other one have to accidentally remove the black salt?
Yeah, they added on a house on the other side, and so the line was broken. And
yeah,
so
but the apartment that we went to later that day, she had to clean it up because the manager was coming in.
Yeah, manager was coming and inspect. Yeah, they couldn't have the salt on the floor.
Yep. So it's like they're sitting there just waiting for the invitation.
Yeah. They don't need invitation.
No.
So how do you determine a malevolent? Let me say this right. A demonic. Yeah. How do you determine the difference?
Whether it's a lesser or an old demon?
Yeah.
Minions are kind of funny because, they're just kind of squiggly, ugly little critters that like to show themselves as freaky things like big spiders and things with a people face and spider bodies and all weird things.
And they usually look like little fat, like potatoes with ugly faces and arms to me.
They show themselves as different things. It's whatever. What is she gonna like? What is she gonna scare? What's gonna scare her? Let's just see. And they know I don't like spiders. But I'm not afraid of them. I just don't like them. But then the lesser demons are the ones you're more likely to find in the physical world because they have a hierarchy like anything, just like they do in heaven. The old ones are the old ones. They've been around a long time. They're kind of like the mafia in the way that they have a code. You have to respect that for demons who are more like running amok teenagers. They'll do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it. They don't listen to anybody. It's like they just do whatever the heck they want to do, and the heck with you. So those are the ones you're more likely to find down here. And if an old one comes down, it's for a darn good reason. They have to have a darn good reason to leave and to come down here. They don't like it any more than sometimes than we do.
And there are periods of time where we spend more time in a particular area than others. It's like the ley line is disrupted. And so we find ourselves sometimes weekend after weekend going to the same general vicinity to different places to deal with them.
Unfortunately. Yeah, ley lines run certain sectors. And, the Romans understood that ley lines were lines of power. They built their roads on ley lines because of that. And so, they are there. They're there for their power, pure power. That can be used for good or used for evil. If you go to like Stonehenge, I was in Stonehenge a couple of years ago, and it's where 6 points intersect. So it's a line of power. Most of your, things like that, like the pyramids and stuff, they're all built on intersecting lines, ley lines, places of power. So you have to kind of figure out, okay, I had a friend who's like bought a house, and she's like, you know what? She said, every morning, in the middle of the night, every night, I've lived here 3 months, and I open my eyes, something wakes me up, and here's a ghost standing beside my bed, all different kinds. And I'm like, I hadn't been to her house yet or anything. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll come over and take a peek. So I came over, and it's like, oh, you got a ley line that runs behind, runs some distance behind your house. I said, no wonder you have these, one time was an older black man in coveralls, and he had blood all down him. One time was a little girl, and she had blood all down her, all different kinds, makes, models. And I said, okay, I'll just put up kind of a force field for you, and then you'll be okay. So I kind of put up a shield for her, and she didn't have any problems after that. But it's like, if you live on one, you're going to have fun because a lot of paranormal activity.
I live really
Kinda
close
like a
to one.
Yep, she has one right up her road.
Yep. I mean, and Susie, I love going to cemeteries. But our little cemetery here was the one that made me the saddest. It's a pioneer cemetery. And the first time I went, I left there in tears, and I don't do that. I heard all these little voices around me. They kept telling me there were more of them there than we knew. And that made me so heartbroken. It's like, what do you mean? And as I was leaving, I was like, okay, guys, I'm really sorry. I got to go. And it's like, as I was driving past the little shed, there were all these broken headstones. Old broken headstones just leaning there. I'm like, okay, so what are you going to do with them? Are you going to put them back? Are you going to fix them? So the next time I went, it's like, I did a walkthrough and talked to them and said, I know there are more of you here. It's just sometimes it's really hard for them to fix things and such. And it became very peaceful. It's like somebody noticed us. And my daughter and I love to go to cemeteries. And what we've noticed out here in our little general area, they've started putting them in the ground and fixing them. But that was the saddest little cemetery. And it's really close to that blasted ley line. So I want to go back and see how it's feeling and if anything else is going on, because it'll change. They change over time. So if I recall right, it kind of goes to the left of my house and up over the hill, right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's where it is.
Okay, yeah. So that stupid picking on those poor little spirits. So that's my take on it. There you go.
I don't do cemeteries because they know you're coming before you know you're coming. And they the line forms on the left.
Right. I admit it. I have taken her to a couple and we had fun, and we had fun.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know that I hate to interrupt you, but I just have to say something. Speaking of cemeteries, you guys know that a lot of paranormal investigative teams won't even go into cemeteries nowadays. My team does. I think as long as you're respectful,
Yep.
I don't see a problem with it. People visit cemeteries every day, right?
Yeah, I don't see a problem with it. That's the thing. As long as you're respectful.
I think we have
I just don't go because out of the woodwork.
We have an obligation, considering what we do, to help, preserve some of these things, do walkthroughs, take care of them. We have one here in Portland that I found out just this last year, and I didn't get to go to it because of a funeral, of all things. They have one that does an annual Halloween party in the cemetery.
What?
Yes. People will dress up. They're part of the historical society. They will dress up like, founding members from the community. And it's a really good way for people to get out there and pay attention to what's going on, what's falling apart, what needs to be taken care of. And we all know that there are people who love to just demolish these things during Halloween season. And I've always said, those of us in the paranormal world, our keisters should be at a cemetery Halloween night protecting it, because people are going to come through there. And so there are groups of people that will go and do this. And that's one of the things they do. They try to protect it. And so we were speaking with a friend of ours, and we were thinking about doing it. And you know how life is. You go 50 different directions. And so we didn't get to do it. But we'd been talking about finding a cemetery and being there that night to protect it. We're not only protecting the history of it, but we're being respectful for the people who are still here with us, and those are their family members, and hopefully protecting it from the idiots, pardon me, but that's what they are, that come through and demolish
Yeah.
headstones. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
the ones that aren't afraid to do this stuff. Come on. I
One
mean,
thing
really?
they do in Oregon City is they have like a Halloween tour thing, and they keep from the senior center, and they come down and they have a bunch of people taking buses to go down and walk through, tell them about the history of the cemetery and stuff like that. So it's always busy during the Halloween, so that people can't bother it or anything like that.
But
There's just-
sad, we do have those that end up on the news every year, and they're showing these trashed headstones, and I'm like, this is wrong.
Yeah, it's not
You know, so I feel personally like I have an obligation. My daughter's like, I'll go with you, Mom. Not a problem. You know, I have several different friends who are willing to go with us to patrol this and be there and keep an eye on things. We're pretty good out here where June and I are. Our little area and our little pioneer cemeteries are pretty well handled. It's the ones in town
Yeah.
that aren't. That's my take on it. It's kind of like we have an obligation. We're not going to be running screaming because we see something. We might be going, hey, dude, talk to me. But, to help protect that history that we are all interested in and those spirits that we respect so much. Pardon me. So I hope to do it this year.
We found one right in the middle of town, just driving around, don't even have an entrance, an entrance in it. And it was crazy because there was 2 headstones left up. There's 238 people buried there. Everything else is demolished.
Illinois. And when I go to visit him, we'd go off roading and whatever, and out in the middle of places here and there. Here pops a little cemetery here and there. And when I went to Gettysburg, the same thing, because at that point you're sitting there looking at what had been big plantation type areas, family cemeteries, possibly slave cemeteries in some of those areas, and they're just sitting out in the middle of the fields. The people don't mess with them. They take care of them, but there they are. So I would love to have gone and seen some of those, but I'm not going to trespass. That's a no, we all know.
So I have a question for you ladies. Going back to the whole demon thing. I'm sorry. I'm like very fascinated with this whole topic. What is the last like super crazy public location that you guys have actually banished a demon at?
Hampton Court. I took one out of Hampton Court in England, Berkshire.
And you also did Alcatraz too, I think, right?
Yeah, we hit the Alcatraz. Yeah, we were the idiots in the cell block D isolation, solitary confinement.
Yep. Videotaping pitch black and laughing like a couple of morons. We thought it was great. It didn't bother us at that point. I wasn't bothered until we went outside, because we went to leave and realized we kind of missed our ferry. And so we kind of moseyed around and we walked past the shower area. And, having never really been to a prison, you don't think about what are they designed like? What's it like? Well, you walk past the shower area, big, huge windows. So that means when the place was being used, anybody could have seen in there when they were showering. Well, the things I saw in there were not pretty. And that made me really sad. And I said to June, I said, can we just leave this area, please? I hadn't been bothered until that point. So we went down and dealt with the wind and all the other ickiness. couple of things there and Winchester Mystery House, but there was really nothing to remove there.
Although Emily was quite perturbed with the movie.
Yeah, and
Really? The very late.
Yeah.
Who's seen the movie? Tell us in chat. I think I know it's the very latest movie. I watched it. I wasn't super impressed. I mean, it was kind of fun to watch, but I didn't feel like it was very accurate, I guess you could say.
well, remember at the end of the movie, they did have a ginormous, all of a sudden my brain won't talk. Saying that, this was wrong, this was what had actually happened. It was the earthquake. It wasn't, so they did their very best to explain what had actually happened. So I had respect for them in that. And, Miss Sarah doesn't really care about that. The thing is, every time they talk about what happened, it hurts. And she's very saddened by that. But for the most part, she likes having the people come. She likes the people to see all of the work that happened. But when every time they tell the story about the loss of her husband, the loss of her baby, the sadness in this poor spirit is just overwhelming. And then when they get past it, she's great. So she didn't have a problem with it. Who was Emily? I can't remember.
I'll say Emily was one of the maids. She didn't like it either. She didn't like the way they portrayed the mistress. So, and then of course Albert the gardener, he's like, whatever and wherever. I said, excuse me, that's not his name. His name is Albert Bean. He's standing right here, Albert Bean. Because they never knew what the guy's name was. And it's like, Albert Bean, just leave it at that. He doesn't like being called the gardener.
Yeah, because he was more than a gardener. Her people that worked for her were very loyal to her, and my daughter and I had planned on watching the movie before we went. And then, life gets away from you. And we didn't get to watch it until we came back. And I'm actually glad we didn't, because it was more fun going into that cold. I loved the grounds. I felt very peaceful on the grounds. It's actually a very peaceful place. There is nothing negative or mean or rude or nasty there. I think this is my personal take from feeling her and seeing her sadness. I think that she would be more than happy if they just didn't talk about the sadness. Mm-hmm. She would be more happy if they would just talk about the fact that here's this amazing house that this little woman did that is now bringing so much interest. She'd be very happy.
I like that part.
Yeah. I mean, who really wants to hear that, time and time again, all day long? Even in the spiritual realm, they still have feelings. Mm-hmm. And you could feel her feelings. You could see her there. You could see her sadness. And then when they moved on from the story, she's like, yeah, let's do this. So I love that.
I've never been there, guys, but Caitlin has. What do you think, Caitlin?
Oh, yeah, I've been there 3-4 times, I think.
Nice.
I agree, it's very peaceful.
Yes.
I've had a couple odd things happen while I was there.
House.
I felt a couple presences. We got some kind of a weird picture at one point. Weirdly enough, when we went up to the balcony that is on the room right outside her seance room, we were, before even digital cameras, where you just had to roll the film back up in it, or it self-rolled. That was the fancy one. We had a 27 exposure, and we made it all the way to picture 13, and it just shut down. And it ended the camera roll, and it blanked out every other single photo after that, and it was odd. Things I'd catch things out of the corner of my eye. I'd see people that weren't there or that kind of thing, but it never anything malicious. It's all very peaceful, I guess is a nice way to put it. It's never creepy. I've been on the nighttime Halloween tour.
I want to
Um,
do that. That would be
I
so
did that
fun.
when I was 12 or 13, and that was amazing. But even then, not creepy.
Nice.
Yeah, it
It's a
wasn't.
peaceful, happy place, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the huge vortex though that's in her bedroom is, that's it's very powerful. There's three of them in that place, and the bedroom's the biggest one. And people always talk about the seance room. That's only a very small one. The one that's in her bedroom is like huge. It's like the first time I went there, it was like it made me dizzy. It was so big.
Yeah.
That's that in her bedroom is where the only photo that we had taken on one of the trips that um looked like a shorter like I want to say female is how it feels when I look at it, but you can't actually tell a gender or anything, but standing at the foot of her bed.
Sounds about right.
And it
Yeah,
was
she
it
was
was
a tiny thing.
she was tiny, a little bit wider, and it was just kind of like an orangey, like a peaceful orangey glow in the photo. And just looking at it, I was like, "Oh, that's a female," and I'm pretty sure that may or may not have been Sarah, but it just very very yeah, welcoming, I guess, is kind of a feeling also.
Exactly.
Like come, oh yeah,
So nope. My daughter loved the little tiny steps because my daughter's not even 5 feet tall. So she loved the steps. They're very easy to handle. But can you imagine those tiny steps?
steps.
All right, guys, we got to go to break. It's top of the hour. I love the conversation that's going on. We will get back to it. We also have an awesome question in chat by Tommy. And then also when we come back, we will be addressing some other really cool things with June and Wendy, like what was it like for them to be on Ghost Adventures? And also talking about their last experiences going to England and stuff. So we'll be back in like 5 minutes, guys. So grab some coffee and we'll be back soon. Peace.
Bye.
Welcome back, everybody, to Haunting the Afterlife Radio. We are having a fabulous show so far. We're lucky enough to have both the amazing June Lundgren and Wendy Stanton-Phillips. So we did learn at the beginning of the show that they do specialize in negative entity removals. We did have a really awesome discussion about that, but now we're kind of moving on, and we do have to address a few questions. So we do have the question. Someone that has a demon attached to them to send it to someone else. If it does, is it very likely to return to the first person it was attached to?
It can jump from one person to another. That's a given, and they do that. But they're kind of like stalkers. They watch the person before they feel that they're going to attach themselves to you. They'll watch you. They'll see your routines. They'll look for weaknesses. They'll look for ways that they can manipulate you, all different things like that. And then if you're not good enough prospect, they'll move on to somebody else. And a lot of times, I've never heard of them returning to the original person. So if they move on to somebody else, the chances are you're not suitable for their little demonic plans.
So, okay, does that answer the whole question? I need to go back to the question. Is very likely to return to the person it was attached to?
In this instance, sharing is not caring.
No.
Don't keep it to yourself. Get rid of it permanently. Call somebody like us and we'll do our best to help you. But yeah, it's kind of creepy. I visualize them like these little, like I said, these potatoes with like stick arms and these ugly faces jumping from person to person. I have a vivid imagination.
Well, so, speaking of that, get a hold of you, how do people get a hold of you? Like, let's say somebody, because I know you guys are in Oregon, right? So
Yeah.
let's say that somebody in New York or something is having a demon issue. How can they get your help?
They can go to one of two websites. There's demonseer.com, and then which feeds into mysticconnections.org. And they can send me an email.
And there's an Instagram too.
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, Ghosts and Girls Paranormal. Contacts through any one of those. Twitter, it's the same thing, Ghosts and Girls. If it's from a distance, I can do removals remotely. All I need is a picture, either of a place or a person.
As long as it's not a big bad one.
I've even done those from a distance, but they're not as prevalent, so you don't really have to worry that much about that.
Yeah, you can get a hold of us almost, on anything. What have we missed? I can't think. Are we on Twitter too?
Yeah, Ghosts and Girls, Wendy and June, that type of thing.
Well, do you guys charge for this thing?
Not for removals. That's God's work. That's no. We don't charge.
If people want to donate, because it costs a bit of money for fuel, especially depending on where we go. But no, we don't charge. I mean, and if somebody's charging, you better sit down and think about it.
Yeah, because that's
not right reasons.
Yeah.
Is it okay with you guys if I put your personal Facebook links in the chat?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, let me do that just in case somebody might need to get a hold of you. Give me 1 second. Okay, guys, I'm going to be putting Facebook links. And you have Ghosts and Girls Paranormal
Okay.
page that I'm going to put in chat as well. There we go. So, yeah, guys. So you said you can do it remotely, like via picture or...
Yeah, I need a picture.
What about just needing help with a negative or just some spiritual help?
Either way, yeah, I get a lot of requests for information, or they have a question, or they send me an email, with questions, and I usually end up calling the people. If they give me a phone number, I'll call.
And we've been known to go to places where they didn't really have, it wasn't demonic. Family members, whatever. And we've sat there and spoken with the people that own the place and just helped them come to grips and deal with whatever was going on so they could handle the spirits that were there. So we've been known to do that, but no, we're not therapists or anything like that. But, if we can help them, even just by sitting talking with them to help them realize, hey, it's not a bad thing. It's not a negative thing. It's a family member. It's somebody who used to live there. They just like you, to help bring them some sense of peace. We'll do it.
Yeah.
And no, we don't charge.
Do you feel like anybody should charge? How do you guys feel about that?
For demonic removals, no.
No, you're trying to help people. That at the end of the day, it's not about the fortune and fame and what have you. You're here to help somebody. And that's wrong to say, well, I'll help you for $2,000.
I've heard of somebody doing that.
Was it $1,400 a pop? I'm going to come in for 4 sessions, $1,400 each session. No, I don't think so. Where's your heart? Where's your conscience and ethics?
Because our gifts come from God. They're not, they're not man-made. So, God freely gives, you freely give.
And he can freely take them away from you. Mm-hmm. It's so not cool. And you know what? You meet some of the neatest people. And yeah, you meet some unique ones. And then you meet those that are contacting you for completely the wrong reasons.
Yeah, can you show me how to summon a demon? No, it's not my thing.
I'm going to message you 50 times. Can you please help me? No, not going to do it. No, we're doing this to get rid of demons.
I had one that sent me a message. I want to be able to I want to be able to talk to him. I'm like, yeah, well, nah, good luck on that one. I said, people ask me, well, what do they talk about? What do demons talk about? What do they say? I said, I wouldn't know. I said, they have nothing to say that I want to hear.
No.
So
I've had people actually ask me, well, would they listen to reason? Wow, really?
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
It's a demon. No, they have their own agenda and you don't matter. Sorry. Yeah. Logic, reason, demon. No, those don't go together.
People don't understand that demons are incredibly stupid. Incredibly stupid.
They're very narcissistic. They really are.
It's all about them. Yeah.
Yep.
It's all about them.
Like a lot of people on this planet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that clarification. Demons are stupid. I mean, it would be different if we were talking about just, some corresponded negative entities, but
they are. They're incredibly stupid.
Demons, they're just stupid. I guess that's okay.
I mean,
that's Ariel talking. She thinks they're all stupid. So she finds them incredibly stupid.
We have another question in chat.
Swing.
Blue Massachusetts. In my short time investigating this place, has proved to be the most active I've been to.
We just had that conversation the other night, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. On our podcast, we had somebody on there that goes there.
Right.
Wow.
And,
Oh, mansion. Yeah.
well, yeah, that's a fun question. June, why don't you take that?
No, that's you can have this one.
Okay. After we talked to the gentleman, Tim, I went and looked it up because I love history. And they are they're very proud of that house and the entities. So now my brain has been like doing whatever long enough. I don't remember the whole question. Could you tell me?
He said, has anyone contacted anybody at the Oliver Mansion? In his short time of investigating, this place has proved to be the most active that he had been to.
I don't know. Tim Wiesberg, who we had on our show the other night, he's like he goes there a lot, and
he enjoys it.
He enjoys it. Yeah, he tries to promote money for the museums and things like that to help keep them open, and he really enjoys it there. He says it's very active.
Yeah,
so we've never really been there
too. Yeah, I mean, people should go and look it up. The history is really cool. It's a really neat looking place, and the things they do are helping keep it going. And I'm not sure about everything they've contacted or who they've contacted, but he said it was flat out very, very busy.
I want to go to the White House and investigate the ghosts.
I'm sure the president will just let us walk right through the front door.
After Trump's booted out, then I'll go.
No, let's not go down that path, young lady. No, no, no. Can you imagine? Knock, knock, knock. Can I come in? I want to talk to the ghosts.
Yes, I'd like to see the ghost, please.
We're going to supposedly hear, I think that would be fun. I'd like to go back to Gettysburg. That's a very busy place.
Yeah.
It is. And beautiful. And very peaceful, amazingly enough. I loved it.
Well, Blues Player said in chat, ask him, I bet he'd welcome you in.
Not. I didn't vote for him, thanks.
Boy, we're keeping ourselves good girls. Come on now, kids.
Not going there.
All right, guys. So, now Blue says, Gettysburg is on my bucket list. Have you guys been there yet?
Yes, I have. I so want to go back. I only was able to be there for a day and a half. I took my sister and she wasn't well, so we left early. But that is where I actually, believe it or not, and people don't have to agree with me, and that's fine, I had a past life come forward.
Yeah.
I have always been very drawn to Gettysburg. I was born April 12th, which was the day the Civil War started. But Gettysburg was July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. My sister was born July 2nd. I mean, how weird is that? My name is, come on, Secretary of War Stanton under Lincoln, who is a relative. But we went, I didn't know what would happen. And some freaky thing took me over, and I'm heading east. I'm telling my sister, we got to go east. We got to go east. She got me pulled over. I had no clue what was going on until we rented a guide, as she liked to say. And he was talking about a Union troop that was surprised by a Confederate troop. And the sergeant was saying, we have to go east. We have to go east. Now, I've looked into it a lot. I've enjoyed it a lot. I'm not an expert, but that was kind of crazy. The first original Eternal Flame is there, which President Kennedy saw and wanted for his. And so you have that there, and it's just an amazing place. And anybody who loves history and spirits you got to go. And so we got to go, June.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, road trip, another road trip.
And then
Yep.
let's head north to Salem. We got to go there.
Yeah, well, we have to go there. Yes.
Yeah.
We'll have to go both those places.
No, first you guys got to come here.
Yeah, well, we're coming there in May, so there you go.
Oh my God.
Yes, we're excited.
Road trip.
And guess who the driver is? Me. Okay.
I have to. Mario here has to stay second.
I'm Kyle Bush, so you know what? I'm gonna go. Psh, we're heading. Heck yeah.
June, you might need 2 seatbelts and not just one.
No, we need a 5-point safety harness. Come on, NASCAR
Yeah,
regulation.
Yeah, there's no problem. She drives with me. We drive the same way. Mario here.
My poor daughter in the back seat that I worry about.
Whiplash.
Well, guys, we are starting to get a little bit short on time. So I mean, I still have a million questions for you guys. So tell us, I know you guys were on Ghost Adventures last October. I want to know what that was like for you guys individually. And what did you think about that whole filming experience? And what did you think about Zach himself?
Go for it, Wendy. Tell them.
Why me? Zach was a gentleman, very kind, very intelligent, very nice. The whole crew was. It was really neat getting to see how it actually works, the behind the scenes. You know, getting to go into a lighthouse that the public doesn't get to go into is way cool. It really was. I'd had a loss 2 days before that. And so I really opened myself up at that point and just let it loose, and whatever happened, happened. And it was really neat because the people paid attention, they cared. It's not like you think, you know, from all these years, they gave a darn, you know, and some of the stuff that happened with me after the fact, the cameras weren't even rolling. And when they turned it back on, I had no clue they were on, to be honest. So, but it was really neat. Had a lot of stuff. It would be really great to see what's actually on the cutting room floor, because I don't think I'm exaggerating. I think there was about 4 hours of filming between what the producer did and what, you know, the main camera crew did. And you can't put 4 hours in 42 minutes, you know. So it just kind of made me laugh because there were some things like, if you'd put that in there, people wouldn't be lost about that. Because at the end of the show on mine, they'd gone in and it said accident. Well, I had told them flat out that the lighthouse keeper's wife had been blown over by wind. And then when they did their thing across the spirit box, it said accident. And here the poor husband's spirit has been dealing with, he killed her, you know, she committed suicide. It was neither of those, you know, and it was very busy and it was draining and exhausting. And again, in a heartbeat, because fulfilling, honestly, you know. And so June and I plan to go back there here, hopefully in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
So that's my take.
Yep.
What episode was that y'all did Ghost Adventures on?
We were on the come on,
Graveyard
brain.
Pacific.
Graveyard of the Pacific, and mine was the last one.
It was
Cape Disappointment.
Cape Disappointment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was the Norblad Hostel. And it was, you know, the thing is, the demon was there. They know you're coming for you, know you're coming. And the demon was there. And I told them, you know, when Zach said, well, you know, what is a demon seer? And I told him, and he was like, okay. And then we went down into the basement of the hotel. And first thing he asked me for, we went down, are my crew going to be okay? Is there any problems, or, are they going to be protected? Because he cares a lot about his crew, and that's as it should be. And of course, they made me go first.
Well,
Down the stairs. I'm like, okay, whatever. I go down the stairs and he's like, well, where is it? And I said, it's right over there. It's over there in the corner and stuff like that. And, before we even began the thing, he was like, go get the SLS camera and go get this camera. I said, you can get them all you want. I said, but it's not going to do you any good. So you can't see the demon with it. So there you go. I said, you can get them if you want, but they didn't get them. So anyway, we went in there and everything, and that the part that you saw on TV was just a fraction of it, because we went through to the other side of the basement first. I told him, I said, well, there's something over here. You can come over here. I said, there's a lesser demon over here. I said, and a few of the little squiggly, ugly things running around here. And so they sent poor Aaron, of course. He says, Aaron's like, go to the end there. She says there's one in there. And he's like, so Aaron like goes through this area, goes down to the end of the tunnel. There's no way else to put it. And there's like this, it's all boarded up, and then there's enough board open that you can go through. And the minute he steps through, he's like, bro, this is bad. I can feel it. I don't like it. that type of thing. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And so we ended up going back into the main part of the basement where the old demon was. And he says, I want to see what you see, because I had told him about people that want to see what I see. And I tell him, no, you don't want to see what I see. And so he's like, no, I really want to see what you see. So I said, okay, hold my hand. You asked for it. Don't say I didn't warn you. So he's wearing, this glove with the fingers in it, And he's like, and the part you don't see is where he says, at first I felt this, it was really peaceful. I saw this white, light and everything. He said, and then a curtain came down and then I saw it. And that's when he jerked away from my hand. He said, electric, impulse went through. And I told him, I said, well, I said, that's what runs through me. I said, you see now what I see, and you're going to hear what I see, hear what I hear. So we went around and finished the major part of the investigation. Then we got over this one area, and I told him, I said, listen, I got to take it from you. You can't be seeing what I see and hear what I hear all the time. I said, it'll make you crazy. And he was hesitant about that and everything. And Billy's standing there. Billy and I did a lot of talking off camera. It's like when we first went into that main room where the demon was, he heard the growl like that. I said, nothing, just a demon, ignore it. Towards the end, when we were in the other section, he's like, oh my God, this high-pitched frequency went through me. What? Just one ear, what was it? And I says, for all you people that can't hear what I hear, that's how you hear it. It's a high-pitched frequency. And then, so we were through, and I went upstairs, and I was getting ready to leave. And I told him, I said, give me a call when you're ready for me to take it away from you. And the next thing I know, they're calling saying that Zach wants it taken away. But, you see on film that he calls Billy and says, I don't think that woman knows what she's doing, or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you don't know what you're doing. But, Billy told him, she told you, you're going to hear what she hears. You're going to see what she sees. That's why you're hearing and seeing things. So he came back and I took it away. And he's like, he tweeted out I'll never forget this or something like that. I'm like, yeah, you won't either. Give you nightmares.
I remember watching that episode with you, June, in it, and I do remember that moment you were talking about. And I kind of wondered when I heard what he said, how you were going to take it, but he was like, I don't know this lady. I don't know if I trust her. He was like talking like that. So he was scared. He was a little scared. Yeah.
Because it's not every day you see evil in its pure form.
Yeah.
I was sad.
Yeah.
You know, there was nothing scary about me. I was sad. She was scary.
Hey, I look in the mirror every day. That's scary. Stop it.
So,
Where's the part where he like took off running?
Yeah, he took off running. I can't help that. You know, it's like it's not my.
They did not cut it out, which I was like, no way. I watched.
They didn't cut it out.
Yeah. But I mean, that sort of a thing. He's seen a lot of crap. He really has, but not to that level.
Yeah, and I think it's something he'll never forget, because when you see evil in its pure form, you never forget it. It stays with you forever.
Yep.
You know, I grew up with them, so I'm used to it. I just don't even pay no attention to it anymore. And I think that's how I can be so calm around the stuff, because I've lived with it all my life. You know, I'm not one of those people that's going to make a big fuss about it. You know, it's there. I kick his buns, and we're done. Go on.
I mean, there's ones that
it's a public service. It's a public service.
there are certain ones that will stick with you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we did one a year and a half ago that affected both of us. It obviously in different ways, because we did different things. We'd taken a minister friend with us, and it affected him, and we checked in with each other for a week because it was so, I call it life altering, because even today I look back and go, wow, I can't believe that happened. But you have 3 people there that witnessed these things, and you can't come up with the words for it.
Yeah, a woman contacted us about being possessed, and you know, we had a friend that's a minister. You know, it's like he needed to go with God says. You know, he needs to go. He needs to learn not to be afraid of the dark, because you know he's a minister. He's supposed to fight the darkness. You know, he's supposed to have faith. And so we went, and Ariel's never out for more than, I don't know, half an hour or so, but she was out for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Moving these things. And in the end, there was one stubborn one, which, you know, the thing is that the demon had been given a job to do for Lucifer, didn't do it, just like blew him off. And Lucifer had been looking for him for a while. And so he was holed up in this woman, and it said, you know, he said, I told him, I said, you know, Ariel told him, you know, that if you want to go home, Jesus will come and take you. He will come and take you. And then, you know, both of Wendy and my friend, the minister, they both saw this big hand come out, the white light and the big hand come out. And but the thing didn't want to go because it was afraid. You know, it's used to lies. Everybody lies. So then Ariel summoned Lucifer to come and take it. And so they both saw this black humanoid type mass come down the hallway towards us. And it's like, you know, it wouldn't go with him. So Lucifer said, you know, not to worry. He would be back for it at 3 a.m. So at exactly 3 a.m. in the morning, we were all home, sleeping in our beds. All woke up at the same time. And I heard Jesus say, it's done.
Yep. And I ended up on the sofa because I don't sleep well. So I was down on the sofa at that point in time. And it's like, it was painful to know it had just, and that took all of us a good week to deal with. It really did. And it won't leave us.
And it's something like that. It kind of, you know, drains me. It's like if it's a regular removal, I can recover in a day. But that one was 3 hours. So that one longer.
3 hours, and watching this poor soul, this poor woman, watching this demon come through her, and her eyes turn black and then go away, and you cannot think about it at that point. You have to be removed.
Yeah, you have to focus.
And I was so glad personally when I came home, I was alone. I sat down on the sofa and just sat there for a minute going, did I just see all that? Did I witness this? Did I go through this? And then I cried solidly for an hour, because this woman will be marked forever.
Yeah. I talked to her and I said, you need to go get some counseling. I said, you need counseling. I said, you have PTSD from this. You've been dealing with this for 20 years. I said, you need counseling. I said, go.
And our minister friend said, I am here if you need this. Again, we're not PhDs, we're not counselors, but we will do our best, or we'll try to help find somebody. But even what we do leaves a mark on us permanently because, wow, what an experience. And I had a friend say to me, you saw Satan and you lived? Well, we're talking, right? But to see them almost virtually simultaneously was just like, whoa. You can't come up with words for that. You can't. So that was one of the most life-changing ones for me personally. And I hurt for her. I haven't heard from her. June hasn't heard. We don't know. Did she take the offer of help? And we always tell them, contact us, keep in touch. Want to know what's going on. If you need us again, are you doing well? So we haven't heard from her, unfortunately. So we don't know what's gone on since then.
It's sad that you haven't heard from her. Well, guys, we do have a few questions for you. So we've got Blues Player who asked a while ago, have you investigated St. Augustine Lighthouse?
No, that's in Florida, they said. So
I've been to the Hasita Head Lighthouse, which is haunted, in Newport, Oregon.
We haven't been on.
Interesting.
And then we also got a question from Brian. He posted in the chat. Have you seen an uptick of activity in both spirits, both pros and neg, with all the strife that is occurring in the world?
Yeah, you have to look at it this way. There are ebbs and there are tides. And I can always tell because I'll have an influx of people contacting me because of, demonic activity or negative activity, and it'll rise, and I'll be flooded with people contacting me about it, needing help, and then it'll taper off. Right now it's kind of tapered off, but it comes and goes in waves. And you can always tell when there's an increase in paranormal activity, whenever there's a lot of violence, mental illness. It's unfortunately they go together. You just see so many things happening. It's just incredible.
Yep, and the fall is usually the busiest for us. Late summer, fall, into
do you think there's any traits like that a human possesses that attracts demons?
Yeah. Substance abuse, mental illness, strife in the family, a home atmosphere that's full of violence, and uncertainty, places where people are, you have people that are studying negatives that want to get into that sort of thing. And so, people say, well, you can't attract them just by reading. But remember what I said, thought becomes reality. When you're focused so much on it and you're so intent on, this is what I need to find everything about, and just, you dwell on it. I mean, I died in a motorcycle accident in 1988. And that's when, I learned about what was inside me, why I could do all these things. And when I was over there, it's like he says, Michael says, thought becomes reality on this side. In your world, it can too. He says, if you put a lot of thought into something, whether it be positive or negative, he says that can produce, something to happen. So, on this side, thought becomes reality. When you're dealing with demons, you have a long way to kick their buns,
Exactly. Positive thinking helps more than negative, that's for sure.
Any other?
No. Does Brian
I
have
have
any?
a question for you.
There you go, Susie.
Did Brian have a question? I didn't know. No?
He's being all quiet over there.
Well, he's trying to make sure that we stay connected and everything. Well, I have a question for you guys. So you guys were talking about Zach and how you were on the show and everything. I have a question about the demon house.
Oh, cool.
What do you guys think about that?
Let me come in there. I could have played.
Do you think it was a demon in there?
It wasn't. That's the thing. It wasn't in the house. It's attached to the land. You can kill that house all you want.
And he even said that. He flat out said, I burned the house down so nobody else could come along and, buy it. It's in the land.
Yeah.
He even said so, flat out.
Yeah,
huh?
It's in the land. I mean, that's how his eyes got ruined. Do you think the demons can't do anything? They can do whatever they want. That's why he has to wear Coke bottles for glasses now.
Yeah, I noticed a couple of years ago when he started wearing those lenses.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know why, and then I decided I wanted to do a special about a year ago on on our show about the house. Yeah. And I remember just really researching and listening to him say how he became injured.
Mm-hmm.
His eyesight became injured.
They can kill you. I mean,
that was really fascinating to me, and that's when he started wearing glasses at that exact moment in time.
Yeah. He said, like the old demon said when he was down in the basement, I've come here to tell you, I can kill you in a heartbeat if I wanted to. He said, you have no idea. So that's why I told him. I said, you want to hear what he has to say? This is what he had to say. Demon before. It's the same one that was at the demon house.
So, do you guys think he did anything beneficial by tearing down the house?
No.
Well, other than the fact that nobody's going to buy it right there.
Yeah, well, that's true.
They can rebuild elsewhere, but as far as I know, he still owns the land, so.
Yeah, as long as he owns it and makes sure that nobody builds on it, that's fine. But really, what you have to do is remove it from the land. You have to go in and take the demon out of the land.
Yeah, he can't do it.
No, he can't. Which I think is kind of, that's why it's like when I've always wondered, years ago I wondered, why are there some places in the world that are so bad that nothing, a lot of pain and suffering take place in this area, in this land. There's a lot of bloodshed, all kinds of things happen, like it's cursed. Somebody will say, well, this land is cursed. I'm like, no, it's not. I found that out personally when I went to remove a demon up in Battleground. And I was there, and here's this demon buried in the ground, entombed in the ground. And somebody had, they'd built a house there, so it had broken open the land. So this demon was wreaking havoc. And he killed this guy's wife. She was healthy, not a day sick. The minute they moved into that house, she was diagnosed with terminal cancer within 2 months. And she died. And, so when we finally caught this old demon, that was before Wendy came with us. But when we finally caught him, I told him, I said, what the heck are you doing in the ground? I said, I want to know. Didn't want to tell me, but Michael made it tell me. Says, it went against Lucifer. And for his trouble, he was entombed in the ground by Lucifer. He knew that he couldn't go back because what waited for him was not good. And I told him, I said, surprise, you're going back.
Surprise! Happy day to you.
Yeah. So we sent him back. So that's what you like an Alcatraz. That's what's buried underneath the rock. There's a demon entombed there, an old one. That's why it'll never be free of demons completely. I think the Indians call it like Evil Island or something like that, or Cursed or Devil Island, something like that.
And something to do with birds. And let me tell you, the birds are everywhere and it smells awful. It does.
It was nothing to take out a couple of demons, but I knew that there would be more, because there'll always be more, because they'll be attracted to the demon that's buried in there, entombed in the ground. So we'll always have them. That would be a full-time job to sit there and remove them. It's like, I ain't got time for that.
All right, guys. Well, we're running out of time. Time goes by super fast, doesn't it, on our show?
We have to tell you, we do have our own a podcast now called The Dark Side of the Paranormal. And so it comes on Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. And so people should listen to us. You can find us on any of the different places because we're all over the place. And we do have on Facebook, The Dark Side of the Paranormal Facebook page. So you can look at the latest episode. And we're going to have Jeff Ballinger on it, and he is the guy. He's a paranormal investigator. He works with the Ghost Adventure crew. He does a lot of their, finding people to help out and to have on the shows and stuff like that. So he's going to be on our show.
And so is Miss Susie.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, Brian and I are going to be on the show on, I think, the 26th, right?
I can't remember.
I have to look at my thing here.
I think it's the 26th of February, I believe. But here, guys, I'm going to post a chat. Here is a show I'm posting in chat right now that Brian.
March 27th.
2 days before the conference.
Yeah.
We're supposed to live from there.
Yeah, March 27th.
For Brian and I?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, we definitely look forward to that. I hope you guys very much enjoyed listening to June and Wendy. We love them so much. But we've only got like 5 minutes left, so let's get to our conclusion. On our next show, 2:15. Now, I love him. He is a really good friend of mine and Brian's and Christina's, right, guys?
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Christina.
I just said he's a great guy, a great paranormal investigator. So
you want to talk about somebody who has integrity and who has investigated some of the most crazy, terrifying places in the South. You want to get ready for the show. It's going to be freaking amazing. And also, we want to give some Facebook group shout outs. I want to give a shout out to Wide World of Paranormal Investigators, and I'm going to put their link here in chat as well. They are drama-free group. If you guys want an awesome group to, just share with or advertise on or start a conversation on, these guys are awesome. I'm going to put them in chat here just right now. So that's my group shout out. What about Brian? What about you, Christina?
I want to give a shout out to James Krieshbaum. He runs Night Dreams Talk Radio, and he's just started not too long ago, but he sure is coming up and getting some really good guests. So yeah, Night Dreams Talk Radio.
What about you, Bri?
Busy, he says.
A little busy.
He's a little busy.
Oh, okay. He's a little busy. That's understandable. Okay. Well, guys, we do have a few mystery gang events coming up I want to talk about really quick before y'all leave us. The mystery gang is going to be doing a massive investigation in Virginia City. I know a lot of you are probably very familiar with Virginia City, as where Ghost Adventures became famous there at the Watch Club. We are going to be doing a million of, oh my God, it's going to be so crazy. So I'm going to put the event page here in the chat so you can check it out and join if you want to be a part of that. We're going to be doing a live investigation from our Mr. Gang page. And also, the Mr. Gang was lucky enough to investigate the Goldfield last summer twice. We are going to be finally working on our Goldfield documentary and releasing that in March. So something to look forward to. Christina, do you have any Old Fort paranormal updates that you want to talk about really quick?
We have a couple of local invests coming up within the next probably 6 weeks. We're going to be doing a couple of bed and breakfast. And I say it's local, it's within an hour. So, and then we will be traveling to Independence, Missouri at the 1st of April.
Oh, cool.
And then we're going to be doing a ghost town in Kansas in May. So we are all we're actually almost booked for probably a little over half the year. So we are excited.
Awesome.
Forget we're coming down in May, the last week in May.
Are you coming to Fort Smith, Arkansas?
No, we're coming down to visit Susie.
Oh. Yeah, she's a ways away from us.
Oh my God, I'm so excited they're coming. So excited they're coming to see me. I'm going to give you guys huge hugs.
Woohoo!
And I will just feel so honored to have you guys. Well, I want to definitely thank you for being on our show. And thank you for being our guinea pigs. You guys were our first guests.
Love you. That's why we're on your show, because we love you.
Thank you so much.
I didn't blow anything up.
And then Brian. Brian. What was that, Wendy?
I said I didn't blow my computer up.
No, everything went really well. But Brian's trying to say something. Brian is saying, I would love to come up there to Reno during that time.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Come visit. Come play with us. Yes.
well, maybe, Brian, you need to work on that when June and Wendy come. I'm going to just give you guys huge hugs when you come here. It's going to be such an honor to meet you guys. honestly, like, I'm just so honored you guys are choosing to come here and meet me.
And us, you, and we can't wait to do it. It'll be so much fun.
Yep.
Much
Well.
fun. But anyways, I want to thank all our chatters and all of our listeners for being here. Again, tune in on 2:15 for Justin Neville. He is amazing. But I'm going to let you all go now. And I'm going to say light and love and peace.
Heck yeah. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Have fun. Be safe.